this is the fun part where I get to see if I'm actually working live or not. And I've got hubby in the other room. Hopefully we'll put a comment up somewhere that can tell me if this is working. I've got the phone, a laptop, and the Surface Pro all going to see if I can see if it's working. And I can't see the chat. So I'm just trying to open this up in another one. It's been a while since I've done... Oh, I can see Lizzie. Hey, and Vince. Yay, it's working. Excellent. That's great. And Kylie. Hi, guys. How are you going? Oh, that's good to see. Okay. I can see the chat in my phone. It didn't come up like that before, so that's really good. So, okay, I can see this on 2 different screens now, so that's really cool. Hi everyone, if you're new to the channel, I'm Beck. This is Talk and Chalk. This is just my YouTube channel where I share my tips and bits of advice on teaching. So today you can see in the title, we're looking at reward systems. I'm really, really excited tonight because I didn't even realize this until I did realize it the other day. And then, hi Rosemary. And then I realized today that today is exactly 1 year since I uploaded my first horrible looking video. If you go back and look at it, excuse me, if you go back and look, you'll see it's me in our dining room facing the back door with the Surface Pro looking up my chin, a lovely angle, with just a boring background and horrible lighting and everything. And it was just me introducing myself saying, hey, I'm going to start a channel. My husband came up with the name Talk and Chalk. We went through lots of different names and he gets all the credit for this one. It was really good and really catchy. So thanks, Lizzie. It's exciting to be live tonight. Just coincidentally, 1 year since I started. I can't believe it's been a year. I'm almost at 100 videos. I looked as well when I was going through all of the data on there and double checking the date. So I can't believe it's been a whole year, but either way, I'm excited to get into it tonight. So for those of you that are new, I'm an assistant principal in Southwest Sydney, and I'm not a guru or an expert or anything like that. I'm your stock standard assistant principal that you'll find in any public school. And I just realized that, you know, when I was looking for information online, as we often find with a lot of things we're looking for, it's all American or British. And I found a few teachers on YouTube who are doing great things. Shout out to Rock and Dan Teaching Man, who makes awesome music learning videos for younger kids. Life in Football Land, who's a high school English teacher who does more like of a vlog style. So she shares her fashion tips for school. And oh my God, that's my husband commenting, do you have pants on? Thanks, babe. Yes, I do. And I'm not even in my PJs tonight. Trust the hubby to get on there. Hi, Miss Matt. You've come on at a funny time. So, with my pants on, I'm doing a live stream tonight and sharing some information about reward systems. But I don't want to spend the whole time talking about what I'm doing. I want to share, I want you guys to share as well the things that you do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through the main reward systems that I've used throughout my teaching career, the things that worked well and the reasons that I used it. And then I'd like to get into a bit more of a chat where you guys can share some information with me as well. And then everyone else will get to see it in the chat and maybe take away some other information, because maybe my stuff might not work for you. Someone else's might as well. Hey, Nick from France. What time is it in France? And Mr. Jetsoapy said, like news anchors that sit behind desks but don't have pants on. Yeah, I'm kind of envious of that. That would be a nice way to kind of do your job every single day, not knowing what's under the desk. Well, that sounds a bit sleazy though, doesn't it? So anyway, I'm going to get started with the topic since we've got sort of over 20 people I can see on there tonight. So I'm going to start you off with, oh yeah, Nick, World Cup. I don't know if he's into soccer. Footy? Do you call it footy in France or soccer? I don't know. So anyway, let's get into it. So the main things about the reward systems is that obviously when you go into a school setting, the school may have its own reward systems in place. So you're going to have to think of the whole class, your class, and then the individual students as well. And there's different levels that you're going to have to be able to cater for those needs. So, I mean, most schools will have some kind of award system in place, like your merit awards or tokens, and then, you know, moving on to the bigger awards. So you might collect a certain amount of smaller awards to get a bigger award, and then that moves on to your principal's award. And sometimes that will lead to a celebration. We had the best principal celebration at my school recently, and we had the, oh, what was the company name? It was a games van. So the games, like the console games, like Xbox, PlayStation, they have about 4 of those set up in a big van with the big screens, and you can have 4 players on each one. So you can sit 16 kids in there in one go. And I had the giant, like, hamster ball thing, you know, that you can run through outside on the grass. And they also had laser tag as well. Oh, and on outside of van, they had like the Wii U's and controllers and stuff outside there too. So the kids just had a blast, and the teachers snuck down as well to have a bit of fun afterwards. So that was really cool. But that was a whole school reward for those kids that had achieved a principal's award in the first semester. So, you know, whatever you needed to sort of achieve that throughout the year, whether it was the awards, and that's an ongoing system. So they could have achieved some of those awards the year before and done that. So I'm going to go down to like what I did with my class. And when I started my pracs, I was known as the sticker lady because I just had this big box of stickers. And why not? Stickers are awesome. We'll have sparkly stickers and scratch and sniff stickers, hands down the best ones every single time, but any sticker is fine. I've actually brought my little, this is the container I have with some stickers now. I've managed to reduce it a little bit. So I've got some in there at the moment. I don't have any cool ones. But it used to be a big tin, like a lunchbox. It was a Batman tin. It was hard. It was like those ones that you see in the movies. And that was where I kept all of my stickers. And so anytime the kids, you know, achieved something, I was the prac student, so I could hand out as many as I wanted. I didn't care. But they called me the sticker lady, not the sticker teacher, the sticker lady as I came in. And then I started doing this speech program that they had with them where they had to use tongue depressors for certain things. So I put the stickers on my tongue depressor as well, shiny ones, of course. And that kind of just continued. I've always been big on stickers. That was my big, I guess, first go at rewards, just giving out stickers. When I first started in mainstream teaching, so I started in an autism unit first, so it wasn't really the same in terms of reward systems because it was very individualized. So my first mainstream school though, I started with table points. I just did your basic table point system. So the kids were all in groups at tables, each table had a name, and I started out by letting them choose their names, and they'd come up with wacky names and signs, and up on the chalkboard I would just add in increments of usually 10, sometimes 50. If it was really awesome, I'd just add 100 points to the table points on the board, on the chalkboard, yeah, back in the day. However, I realized that, you know, that wasn't always, you know, acknowledging the individual achievements or efforts of the students in the classroom. Keep in mind, this was my first year of teaching. So I created Turner dollars, because my maiden name is Turner. So I was Miss Turner at the time, and it had my face on it with numbers and colors. And I vividly remember $5 being yellow because I gave out lots of $5 ones. Hey, Mr. Colbert, how you going? I bet you're freezing down south. We're just talking about my Turner dollars that I had my first year of teaching. And then I would give out 5s a lot, and then I think 10s was green, and then there were other colours for red, I think was 20. I tried to kind of keep it in line with Aussie dollars. So if you're our lovely people joining us from overseas tonight, our money's all colourful. And the kids could keep that in a little envelope, and then at the end of the week, or every 2 weeks, sorry, I opened up a shop. And in the shop, there were little cards that had things like 10 minutes of free time, 20 minutes of free time, or you get to borrow one piece of equipment. So a piece of equipment was like a skipping rope or a footy that I had in the storeroom. And then they would get to go and use that at lunchtime. It worked really well. Like, the kids would save up their money, and you realize that the kids would pool their money together if they wanted to share that bit of equipment. So if it was a footy, they really wanted the footy, they'd put their money together and then go play footy together at lunchtime. So they got cunning with it. Hey, Billy! You just missed my awesome explanation of my first year teaching with my reward systems. Billy's got some good ones, so I hope he stays online and shares them later on. Other ones I've done is stamp charts. So just a basic strip of paper or a bit of cardboard, and there's 20 boxes on it, and you just stamp until, you know, you get to 20, and then you get whatever the next reward is, whether it's a prize box or an award or points on the board or something. Kylie's just saying they used opal dollars. Oh, because your class was 3 for opal. So yeah, the kids like it. The stamp charts is a nice simple one. The only problem is though, is that, you know, if the kids lose the little chart, or keeping it consistent as to why you get a stamp, and just remembering to do it as well, because, you know, if your kids are being good and they're on track, sometimes we've got to consciously remind ourselves, we've got to go give out stamps. Usually we're onto those consequences and, you know, keeping behavior in line so much that we often forget about those positive reinforcements. And keeping in mind as well, I should have said this at the start, every time we're doing something in rewards, especially rewards that involve token giving, the whole point is that you're going to create a bridge from that extrinsic motivation to intrinsic motivation. It's not there just for the sake of doing it. There's actually a plan to how you're using it. So that plan is that for the course of the year, or however long you've got your kids, is that by the end of the year, you shouldn't be using the same amount or necessarily the same system that you used at the beginning of the year. You're going to be teetering it off a little bit so that you can focus on more intrinsic motivation with your class. I'm going to go into more detail on that later, how you can do that. So I'll just give a few more examples of things that I've used. One that worked really well was a whole class one, which was called the West Winning Wall. And I've struggled to find it in my past files. I don't know where I've put it. I found a colourful wall. So it looked like a brick wall that had all these different strips of colours in it. So it was the one wall, but it was blue, orange, yellow, whatever it was. And then I created these little colourful feet, and I had 6 feet to climb up the wall. And they were just with blue tack. And I had a lot of issues in my class on the playground. Classroom behavior was very easily managed. But when they went out onto the playground, they would get into fights, they'd get into arguments, and kids with other classes. There was always an issue at the end of lunch, and they were always receiving consequences for what happened at lunchtime. And I found that they weren't really, I guess, supporting each other out on the playground. They were kind of egging each other on. And they never did that in the classroom. So I don't know why, I didn't know why they were doing it. So I created this chart to reward them when there weren't any playground issues. So if they had come back in from a break and no one had, you know, gotten in trouble or received a formal consequence from a teacher out on the playground, then they got a foot to go up the wall. So 6 feet up one color, there was a reward at the top. And the first one, I think, was just free time. And then the next one moved up to like a 20-cent ice block. And then the next one moved up to a cooking day. And then the next one moved up to, I think, 30 minutes in the computer lab. And then the last one was a movie day. So once they got up to the end of the last color, it was a movie day. And it worked really well. It really helped them focus on, you know, thinking, do you know what? This classroom behavior is not appropriate. It's going to get me into trouble. It's going to carry back into the classroom. My behavior doesn't just stay out on the playground. It's going to affect it, you know, everything else that we're doing. And it worked well. So I liked that one. I haven't really needed to do it. I haven't felt the need to do it with other classes. I'm sure it would work as well in different contexts. But for me, it worked well with that particular class. The marble jar is always a good one. Doing something good. Put a marble in the jar. When the jar is full, you get a reward. Pizza party, movie day, free time, whatever. I've also had the behavior chart. Sorry, Lizzie's just asking, did the whole class need to get to the top before movie day? So every time the foot went up, it was a whole class reflection. So if everyone came back in off the playground and no one had gotten in trouble on the playground, then a foot went up. So it represented the whole class getting a foot, kind of that mateship going on there. So they all got the reward once it went up to the top. And sorry, I'm just looking at the comments there. Oh, Mr. Cole was asking something of Nick. No school reward system in France, he says. It's up to each teacher. If I find the foot thing, Nick, I'll email it to you. The feet never went down. No, once you earn a reward, you've earned it. Don't take it away. There's no, I personally follow that mantra, that once you've earned something, it's yours. You don't take it away, because otherwise kids get in that mindset of, well, what's the point of doing it? So yeah, they have their individual reward system as well, Billy. This was just a reflection of that playground behavior, that particular system. So there was another system in place for the individual rewards. This was really just to try and focus on that, that group work, making them, get along together in the playground. This was all focused on just playground, that one. So behavior charts I've used before as well. Lots of different ones depending on the class, and sometimes you have, I'm trying to think, like themes in the classroom as well to go with it. So like, for example, last year I had year 2, and at the beginning of the year we were doing a theme on that movie, the cartoon one, Inside Out, the one with all the emotions, head, anger, sadness, joy, disgust, and fear, I think was the other one. Yeah, Susan, and that's what I did. Yeah, separate thing for consequences to rewards. I also wanted to sort of keep it that, the behavior doesn't dictate who that person is. Kylie's just talking about how the PBL, Positive Behavior for Learning Initiative, their whole school programs. Yeah, Billy, definitely. And Billy's got the experience of being in those school settings where you would see the difference between the reward systems and the consequence systems as well. Hey, Rocking Dan's here, guys. He's the channel I was talking about before. You should check out his videos. His live carpool was hilarious. Sorry, yeah, the clip chart that I was using last year was it was just names on pegs, and they moved up and down depending on the system. So their names all started on green. It was the character discussed, but I found a picture of her where she looked happy. The focus wasn't on her name. It was just a green color to say green for good, go, that's what you're meant to be doing. And then if they had received a warning, so they had their verbal warning, they received another warning, they went down to blue. And then if they continued with that behavior, it went to red. And then there was the consequence system, which involved different things. It could have been time out or go to the classroom next door or whatever. But I always had that option for the reward to go up. So don't just start on green and stay on green. Joy was the top one. And if they got to joy, then they got a dojo point. And they also had something, they got to have the joy doll. I had the dolls that had, like, you press them and they make the sounds as well. Not permanently, just for a period of time. In my previous school though, same thing, I had the traffic light system, but then, you had green, orange and red, but below the green to say that, you were doing great, then you'd move to the blue section, which is what we had because we had little awards called blueies. They were little tokens that you get your name on it, and if you get 5 of those, then you get a school award. So blueies was the thing that the kids were after, and there were different ones worth different things. Kylie's just saying, do you reset for every session back to the start after recess and lunch? I use Class Dojo and I never reset all year long. So in my earlier years of using Class Dojo, I would reset each term. And was it last 2 years? Last few years, whatever it is, I haven't reset at all. Because just the way that it's worked in the class, I've felt that they've been progressing well with it. And it's not like I've got one kid on 50 points and one kid on 500. I consciously find ways to make sure that those kids are earning points based on their achievements. Personal best is the focus. Doesn't the traffic light system take away what they have earned? Well, the traffic light system is more about monitoring behavior so they can physically see their warnings. So that the traffic light system for me wasn't always, it wasn't the reward system. I had other reward systems. I just wanted to make sure that the consequence system on there had something to look forward to, like something to achieve. So if you had gone down to warning, going back to green was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm back where I'm meant to be. But they had that opportunity to achieve more. So I always kept the rewards and the consequence systems differently. Mr. Jetsopia is saying he uses Class Dojo and reset each term. They spent dojo points at a prize auction at the end of term. That's good. Yeah, I've seen some of those ones too, and some of the prizes are really good. And Class Dojo is looking to take on some of the same tools that Seesaw offers. Yeah, which is interesting. Both Seesaw and Dojo are great systems and have been kind of quite different up until now. They're really utilizing similar things now. And Dojo, yes, you can set different point values for different behaviors. Absolutely. So one of the points that I had was a clever pickles point, and it was just a random thing that I would give out for being what I call a clever pickle. And it could be anything, which is great because I could control that. You're sitting still, you're being a clever pickle. That's great. Give you some points. Find a way to really jump on that positive reinforcement. Mr. Cobb was just saying he did a year-long reward points using Classcraft. It was not bad, but you're not doing it this year. And yeah, we've got to chop and change each year depending on our kids. So that's why I haven't kept the same system every single year. It just depends on the kids. And sometimes you'll get through first term and realize that's not working. I need to do something different. The prize box system, usually linked to something else. Again, it's tokenistic and I know it can cost a lot of money. I make sure that it's not something that they can get easily. And I always make sure the things that I put in there are simple things that kids still enjoy, like glitter pens, gel pens. Like you go and buy a pack of 30 for $2. They're so cheap and easy and they get one pen out of it. As well, for the older kids, it's really more targeted for the younger ones when it's things like that. Stickers. I go to the party section and I get the things that come in bulk. So like packets of bubbles, what are the things, you know, like the glow bands, things like that. Party poppers, they like party poppers, or just realized I bumped the phone. Easy things like that I can just chuck in the box. They'll sometimes have like those high bounce handballs in packs of 6. You just go and buy $5 of those and put it in the prize box. And I've still got my same prize box from last year. It's still half full because they don't all, you know, get from it regularly. Susan, yeah, Class Dojo has the research behind it and it's made by teachers for teachers. It's not for profit. It's absolutely free. They're now using the growth mindset stuff. There's heaps on there. I'm a Class Dojo ambassador, so obviously I'm going to advocate for it. I know Seesaw and other systems have great things as well too, but Michael's on from the wheel. He's home high school. Much easier. We give out stamps and run rewards days. And yeah, I'm going to talk about rewards days as well shortly. The big thing I want people to remember though is that when you're giving out these rewards, you really need to be specific about why you're giving out the award. Giving out a reward, you know, it doesn't matter really what it's for, but you need to be explicit about why they're getting it. That way they can get that immediate feedback that what they are doing is appropriate, that it's expected, that it's within the guidelines of your school expectations. So you need to make sure that even if you're using Dojo and even if it's written up there that, you know, it's for teamwork or something, you need to say what it was that they were doing that was great teamwork. You know, so things like, I like the way that you were working with your buddy to create a sentence together. Very specifically saying what it is that they're achieving that reward for. They need to have that, otherwise it's not going to get reinforced. And the other thing that I like to do, along with telling them, obviously giving them that feedback about why they're achieving that reward, is attaching an intrinsic motivator with it. So things like, sorry, I've just had a message come to my phone I'm getting rid of. So like in Dojo, you hear the bing. So you give them a point, it goes bing, and I like to have that up really loud, really, really loud. And what's it called? It's classical conditioning. That's what it is. Sorry. So it's from, think of Pavlov's dog. If you don't know what it is, he did all these studies on dogs and why they started salivating when he walked into the room, and it was attributed, the dogs were connecting it with feeding time, and that's why they started salivating. And he won a Nobel Prize. If you don't know much about Pavlov's dog or the research behind it, if you've seen The Big Bang Theory, you might remember an episode where Sheldon was training Penny to sit nice and quiet on the lounge, like giving her a chocolate. every time she did something right. Yes, Mr. Sophia. Doing the right thing, have a chocolate. Oh, she wanted to take the phone call outside, have a chocolate. That reinforcement that was just on there. Oh, thanks, Billy. He so that's the Pavlov's dog thing. It was research that proved that behavior can be conditioned. And there's all sorts of different other theories and opinions and everything about it. But so when I'm giving out that reward, I always like to give high fives, or a wink or a fist bump or a dab, or do a secret handshake, because that's the kind of thing that kids will then attach to that positive reinforcement. So every time I've given them that dojo point, high five. Every time they've gotten that award, fist bump, because then eventually I won't need to give the point to go with it. Just that high five or that fist bump will be the positive reinforcement. Student engagements just come on. Sorry I'm late, can you catch me up? Lots of reward stuff. We're gonna keep going. We're just talking about how to build that bridge between extrinsic motivation to intrinsic motivation. So talking about combining it with those things that you attribute with that intrinsic motivation. So eventually that wink that I give a kid, that's going to be enough for them. They're not going to expect a reward. They're not going to expect a token or a dojo point, or something from the prize box. They're going to know I did the right thing because Miss gave me a wink. And they're going to get that feeling in there that I feel good, or I did something good feeling, just to reinforce what they're doing. So, and it does, Susan's just said, encouraging student-teacher positive relationships and rapport. Absolutely. Because, when you're out on the playground or you're out on an excursion, you won't always have those things in your back pocket to use it, unless you have Class Dojo on your phone, which I did. So that worked well on the playground as well sometimes. But the idea being that, like I said, over time, over the course of the year, you'll be able to stretch those things out to the point where kids don't feel like they have to have that extrinsic motivation to do something good. Oh, Alice is with us. Alice has just said, our school reward system asks all teachers to explain to students what they have received the reward for. So learning, behavior, achievement, etc. They can then articulate the why did I get this award. And yes, Susan, that's my goal, was setting them up for success. Because, we work because, well, we need to eat. And I like shoes and shiny things. So, I want to get paid. But I do what I do because I love it. I spend late nights doing things because I love my job. I spend time on my holidays like I did today at school, getting some stuff done, getting prepared for staff development day because I love what I do. It's not because I've got dollars in my bank account. Mr. Matz just said, any tips for a student teacher going on last prac? That's exciting. You're in the final stretch. Enjoy it. And see, it's going to be hard to give you tips going on your final prac because the kids that you're going into have already been set up with systems in place. So you need to talk with that teacher, and you also need to reflect and decide what's going to be best for the kids. Is it going to be best for the kids to stick with what their teacher has already done and keep it consistent? Or is it going to be a good opportunity for them and you to try something new? And that's something you need to talk about with your prac supervisor, because ultimately it's got to be what's best for the kids. So you need to have that conversation about, what it could be. And maybe you could come up with like a merger between, something that they're already running and something that you think would be beneficial as well. Keeping in mind, what's the whole school system for rewards and stuff. Eddie J's here from Kafootball Land. That's the other YouTube channel I mentioned, guys. If you're interested in anything vloggy, vloggy, is that a word? Definitely go out and check EJ's channel. She's got some good stuff on there. Sorry, I'm just looking back at my notes now because I can't remember where I was up to. Rewards days. So rewards days have run different at every school I've ever been to. My current school, we run rewards for home reading day. So we have home reading celebration, we have principal celebrations, and we have attendance month celebrations. So this year, I think we're doing 3 attendance months total over the year. We do 2 principal celebrations, one for semester 1 and one for semester 2. And the home reading celebrations are once every term. So the kids have an expectation of how many books they're meant to read each term. Once it's recorded and done, then they can go to the celebration. And we don't do homework where I am. It's home reading is homework. That's the expectation. So there's different celebrations there. However, my previous school, we had rewards day at the end of every term for any student who had been at a certain level within our reward system. So I mentioned before the bluey tokens. We also had orange and red cards. So it was a system where you would have points and you could have points taken away depending on the behavior. But you could earn them back too. And there was a very strategic plan on how that happened. And it was very, we do, Billy. We're very, very lucky. We're at a great school. So if you were on a certain amount of points for that, then you had a rewards day at the end of each term. And each term we would chat as a staff and decide what we wanted to do. So sometimes we had discos, sometimes we had movie days. I'm trying to think of other things we did. We had laser tag one year, which was not easy to do out in the country. And there were other things like that. I think we did an outdoor water day, I think was one as well. I remember getting very wet on a very cold day. Home reading celebration. I think it was a pizza party this term. Yeah, this term was a pizza party. And Jumping Castle is a cheap way that teachers can also enjoy. I would like to know what company has Jumping Castles big enough for the teachers to jump on. I will get that contact off you later if you have it. Kylie, you had a silent disco. I've tried to organize a silent disco. They're very expensive though. Oh, Billy, don't give me Krispy Kreme. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to be healthy and Billy suggests Krispy Kreme. So we're thinking of maybe trying to incorporate the silent disco into the Year 6 farewell. Maybe. Don't know if that'll work because they are a bit expensive. Inflatable obstacle course for the school. Oh, that's good. I like that idea. Jumping Castle big enough for teachers. Billy's still saying let's do it on the Krispy Kreme. Oh, that's my voice. So what I want to do though is I really want to hear more about your systems, and I can see some people having some chats there about where you got a dunk tank and the kids were able to dunk the principal and most teachers too. I'm not doing that only because I'm relieving principal for the first few weeks back next term and I don't want to get dunked. Oh, Michael's organising a colour run. Yeah, we did the colour run. The first year doubled up with our cross country, but what we found was that our kids who were our competitive kids didn't run properly because they were having too much fun with the cross country. So this time we did an obstacle course with it. So we had like a slip and slide, we had like a net that they could crawl through, a tunnel, and we had like poles set up with, you know, with the pool noodles all sticking out that they had to run through as well, and then teachers just whacking colour powder at them. It was really good. So if you're going to do that, I suggest having like an obstacle course so they're not just randomly running around. Mr. Jet Sopius said, bad part at the end of the year is that it's always really hot for awards day at the end of term 4, so dunk tank could be good. It could be. I'm trying to think. In the country we had like a pool party day because the pool was over the road. Literally it was a 3-minute walk to the pool, so we were able to do that. And Kylie's just said an inflatable water slide. It was hard work to climb it. I don't know how the kids do it. I've never been on one of those actually. That would be interesting to have on the playground. We've got a new running track though, so we'd probably have to be wary of that. Okay, everyone's got some really good ideas for rewards day, so I'm going to make sure I note some of those down though. But does anyone want to share what they do in the classroom? So I know some of you guys use Class Dojo. Does anyone use is anyone else use other online systems? I know we have Classcraft. Someone mentioned Classcraft. Sorry, I can't remember who it was. Mr. Colbert, I think, said he tried Classcraft, but he's not doing it this year. Is anyone sticking with, you know, stickers, stamps, merits, tokens, prize boxes, something completely different? Billy, I know, has got a rigid system where the kids move like these big paddle pop sticks over. Some type of reward involving Minecraft. Yeah, we've got Minecraft at our school too, so we could. So Billy's got a money system. Yeah, and I know our other stage 3s have got that as well. I've seen them and they have to record their banking too. And Alicia's on with Class Dojo. Alicia was the person that introduced me to Class Dojo. I think it was back in 2012. I think I became a mentor in 2013. 13, 14, I can't remember. Classcraft for year 4 last year. I might have to look at it because it sounds interesting. A tens frame with stamps or stickers Susan was talking about. Yeah. And it does tie in with maths too. Yeah, that's good. So Kylie's just saying she's a PBL school and they use Class Dojo school-wide. I'm keen to do that, but I don't want to force it onto people. But I mean, I like the idea of it being consistent, and I like the parent interaction on there as well, because we've got a lot of parents that work, you know, casual hours and shift work that don't always get to see you in the afternoon to have that chat. But it's good to be able to just, you know, put up pictures of their work and show you what they're doing. Kelly's just saying she has a Scrabble tile system where they earn letters towards a range of prizes. That sounds really cool. I've never come across anything like that before. So do they have to spell out a word, Kylie, to earn something? I'm really curious about that. The Wheel and football are talking, or EJ, I should say, sorry, different in high school. Why is it different in high school? Stickers are awesome. Sparkly ones. And scratch and sniffs ones. Just stick them on the kid's head. They'll love it. Free time and movies. Yes to cupboard time. Cupboard time is how we use class constructively. And then they can choose from things like scary bingo, Jenga, synonym puzzles, floor puzzles. Cupboard time. I like the idea of that. Like you get something from the cupboard. And it sounds a bit more, you know, older than free time. Alicia uses a superhero chart where kids move their names up and down during the day. Rosemary's got Monopoly money and prizes at the end. Carly has said they developed a reward chart based on dojo points, which included things like the prize box, free time on computers. Mr. Jet Soapy is just talking about Classcraft options. Do have paid options with more resources. Seems more targeted at upper primary or high school. So there you go, high school guys. Oh, thanks, EJ. Yeah, 1 year today. I know, it's amazing. I have to apologize. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Helwyn? Hulwyn? Heulwen. She's got some great videos that have started recently using... Oh, now I've lost your chat because it's gone up the top there. Not locking the cupboard. Spin a prize for the whole class where you spin, get the whole class gets a reward. Kelly's just saying, going back to the letters, she has a letter bag with 4 prizes for them to add letters to it. Okay, that's cool. Alice is saying her students love sitting in the recliner and lunch club as their favorite rewards. We use Class Dojo too. Students design leveled prizes based on dojo points. I like the student interaction with that, them having that ownership over their rewards. And how simple is that, sitting in the recliner? Like, we always think of something big. Kids can sometimes just be very basic. They just want to spend time with us. Sitting in the recliner. Sounds like my grandfather. Prizes like slipper day. I've never done slipper day. We're planning on doing a pajama day soon. Alicia's using invisible stamps. This term I'm starting to use invisible stamps. A blob of smelly lip smackers on their hand. Are you serious? Lip smackers. Some for me, some for you. Oh, I love that. That's such a cool idea. Secondary is different. Okay, Elwyn? Harlwyn? I still don't get it. Elwyn. Elwyn. Sorry, I'm trying to pronounce her name and I'm not doing it justice. I'm probably butchering your name at the moment. I'm so sorry. It looks cool. I think that would look really good in calligraphy. Another kid asked to wear slippers at our school too. Billy's just saying kids collect the money over the term so they can compete for a prize they've asked for. Kylie's talking about Pocket Full of Primary. If you haven't seen Pocket Full of Primary on YouTube, they've got good stuff as well. Oh my gosh, now I've lost it in the chat. Can I go back up? No, I don't think I can. A lunch bunch. I have no idea what a lunch bunch is. I'll have to have a look at her channel and look that one up. Rosemary is saying she's got a games box that students can choose and play with on the playground. And Nick is a happy teacher, guys. If you can see him, it says a happy teacher, a true story. It says, I have more than 250 students. I have to base everything on relationships, but I'm taking all these ideas. Nick, if you use Class Dojo, you can create different classes in. So I probably should do a video on this one. It's a good way to track behavior too. So you can do things like when they go out of the class to go to the toilet, if they're absent, and you can do consequences and rewards. I never use it for the consequences though. That's a separate system. I try to keep Dojo positive. But I mean, if you wanted to keep in contact with parents too, it's a really good way to do that. So I'm just realizing I'm making my phone move. It does help. Mr. Baker's bookshelf. I love how dedicated we all are, even talking chalk in the holidays. We're nerds. Lizzie's just saying, I'm going to try sitting at the teacher's desk as a reward this term. I don't have a teacher's desk anymore. If you've ever seen my other videos, hands down one of the best decisions I ever made, but I love the idea of the kids sitting at your desk and utilizing that space. None on the lips, just the hand. Alicia's saying about the lip smackers. If you're like my son, it goes all the way around the lips. Kindy loved the lip smackers. I call them smelly stamps. They love getting on their hand. That's so cool. And Mr. Matt, yes, this chat is awesome. There are heaps of, I'm going to steal some of these ideas. Mr. Jetsopia saying, as an RFF teacher, I used to set alarms on my phone. They earn points for the number of on task. Points to a table with the top 5 classes displayed and a reward for the end of term. Cool. So Kylie's just clarifying lunch bunch. Students earn a lunch date in groups with the teacher. Oh, I did that. I can't believe I forgot that. So with Dojo, with my kids, this was in the country. Once they reached, crap, what was it? Was it 100 points? It took a while to get to 100 points. Now, it can't have been 100 points. It must have been 500 points. I shouted them lunch from town, and town had the takeaway and the bakery. That was it. So they were allowed to choose something to eat, something to drink, and then a sweet to go with it. So the kids that have like a sausage roll, a move, but to them it was a big deal because getting takeaway out there didn't always happen with those families. They're all farming families. A lot of the kids live out of town, so it was too far to drive in and get takeaway and go back out again. So like, it was like an awesome one. Halwyn. Oh, that's better. I can pronounce that. Halwyn. I hope I'm saying it right. I will share her videos, guys, because she does some great stuff with signing for our kids. Thanks, Rosemary. So Nick's just saying he's used Class Dojo and enjoyed it, but got confused at some point. Too many things to handle. The app on the kid's phone not upgrading at the same time, and I lost focus during lessons. Oh, that would be a pain, yeah, if they're not like updating the same way, and then you'd have different things looking different ways. That would be a pain. Yeah, same Alice. Alice is just saying she only uses the positive, never the takeaway. If I ever have to use the consequences, they're verbal. To students and parent if required. Yep, that's it. Lizzie's guilty of loving her desk. That's fine. Love your desk as much as you need to. Whatever works in your classroom is fine. I don't want to make people get rid of their desks. I just know it felt so good to have the extra space. So Harwin is saying rewards in secondary. Bought a wobble board, and that is a reward for many kids. They stand on them for the whole class or even lie across them. Look uncomfortable, but hey, it's a prize. Exactly. That's it. And those wobble boards are sometimes a necessity for some of our kids. They just love to fidget, and depending on which ones you've got. So there's standing ones that look kind of like a bit of oval foam that they can stand on, and the idea being is that you can wriggle without wriggling, if that makes sense, because it's just your feet pushing pressure into the board. There's ones that you can sit on that have like it's like a plastic cushion that has like these little spikes, like those spiky balls that you get. So there's just enough air in it to let it wobble. Spinner prize included smelly feet, shoes off for a lesson, dance break game, like I wrote a letter to my mother. They love it. Read a story under a tree. Oh, I like the read a story under a tree. That's one. If Billy is still on here listening, I don't want stage 3 taking off their shoes. That wing can get bad on a hot day with those big boys. Keep their shoes on. I'm kidding. I like the idea that it's called smelly feet, though. Let's acknowledge what's going on. Kylie's just saying she's teaching stage 3, smelly feet. No. My class would do anything to do Go Noodle. How good is Go Noodle? That what's that woman's name? Is she on there? Cosmic Yoga, or is she just on YouTube? She's great. I love Go Noodle though. Cuckoo Kangaroo. They're timed perfectly. They're not too long. They're not too short. Getting the points for it and the thing leveling up. We always print off the certificate and stick it up on the wall. If you're not on Go Noodle, you go on and it's free to register, and they've got channels set up in there. So there's like Kids Zumba, or Mr. Catman's a weird one. Maximo is another one. He does like dancing. It's like copying the dance moves. And Moose Tube is this group of people, and they have a guy dressed up as a moose, and they do like rap songs, all kind of rap songs. They're kids songs, but they've got a guy doing like beatboxing to go with it. It's really good, really catchy songs too, but they're the kind of songs that you can't get right away, so the kids want to do it again and again to try and get it right. Yeah, Kids Bop is awesome. They look cool too. What's the other one? Fresh Blaze, is that what they're called? The hip hop guys that wear the blazers, they look really cool. Listening to Kids Bop sing clean versions of popular songs while they are working. Yeah, that's what I like about it too. So if you need an assembly item and you're not someone who's confident in teaching dance or anything, you just get them to practice the one from Go Noodle and then learn that. And a lot of these things are available on YouTube as well. So if you go to YouTube and look for the song, it's on there, and you can rip the audio from YouTube. Kylie says, I make sure that I do green runs every so often. Students run around our classroom block. It only takes them 2 to 3 minutes, but it helps me big time with behavior. Kids Bop on Go Noodle. Yeah, so in Go Noodle, in this website that's Go Noodle, once you go in, then there's channels that have different things. Yeah, Blazer Fresh, that's it. Karaoke is a favorite whole class activity to work towards. Yeah, karaoke's a winner. And guess what? Teachers secretly like karaoke as well. Get a glass of wine into them and have a staff night out with karaoke. No one's arguing. They're all getting up there and singing. And some are good. Going for a class walk is a favorite. Easy to link to some topics. Grab a clipboard and they love it. Have you guys seen, I don't know what the name of it is. I have to find this. Please someone link it if you know what it is. It's a headset for a class. So they've all got headsets on, and the teacher has a headset with like a microphone and a pack that, projects to all of the headphones. So like you can send your kids out onto the oval to go foraging for leaves or something if you're studying leaves, but the teacher can be talking on the headset going, okay guys, remember you're finding 2 large leaves and 2 thin leaves. Work with your buddies. So you don't have to yell out on the playground. You can just talk to them on the headset. It looks super cool. I like the idea that you could send your kids exploring like that, but you could still stay attached. Sometimes you've got to stay attached to the kids that is the runner or the something else, but you could still talk to the rest of the class and give them instructions, and then no one can say, oh, but I didn't hear you, because they heard you. Yeah, it's like a walking tour setup. Like, it would be live though. Yeah, wireless headphones. Yeah. I don't know if they're called learning headphones. I need to look for it. I need to find out how much these things cost. They would be really good in special ed settings as well, I can imagine. Just, blocking out external noises. I just want it because it just sounds so easy to use. It's probably quite expensive though. If I find it, I'll share it on the Talk and Chalk page with you guys. And then, we can all start a GoFundMe campaign to help pay for it. I like the idea of having recordings though for the kids. That would be cool to have headsets like with something pre-recorded, like a walking tour of the school. So like it could even be like a treasure hunt or something. That would be really cool. Kylie's just saying she can't share the link. That's like, if you share it to me personally, Kylie, I'll put it on the YouTube page so people can access it after we finish the chat. Yeah, it would be good on a field trip. Nick, the places that you've walked when you've done some of your vlogs are beautiful. You've got such gorgeous architecture near where you live or near where you work, wherever it is that I've seen those beautiful buildings and the things that you've walked around. That would be so cool to take your students out into those spaces and be able to just, use that headset, talk about what's around you. Or you have to be a chat moderator to share links. That's all right, Kylie. Just send it to me personally and I'll share it that way. How cool would it be for a reward to use the virtual reality goggles or the augmented reality AR? I'm not sure, Mr. Matt, what grade you teach, but with us for primary, the research that's come out now has said that it's better for our primary kids to use, you know, the goggles that are up and down. Oh, I did have some around before, and not the immersive VR headsets. Apparently, kids at that age find it hard to distinguish between fiction and reality when they're wearing that immersive headset. But doing this action with the goggles constantly reminds them that it's fake. I haven't read all the research on it, but this is the new stuff coming out of the future focused learning that we're learning about. It's like high school kids, not a problem, but our younger kids, it's yeah, interesting research that's coming out now. But yes, it would really be cool to be able to do that. Mr. Jetsopia has reminded us Outdoor Classroom Day is September 7. I registered last year. If you go online and register, they send you reminders and you can get resources and things as well. And I did it with my class. We stayed outside all day, which was easy because I had an outdoor learning area and it was beautiful weather as well. So I absolutely recommend registering for that. If you're not in Australia, I think it's a worldwide thing, but I know there's an Australian website. PSVR and full-on setup caps can also damage vision. Really? I didn't know that. I'm getting a new pair of glasses next week because my vision's getting a bit... There's vision issues in the history of my family with macula and stuff, so I've got to make sure I take care of them. But I didn't know it could damage vision, so I'll be careful with that too. Yes, Just Dance is good. Just YouTube Just Dance, or what's it called? We Fit? Dance Fit? Can't remember if that's what it is. I might be thinking of Just Dance if that's the kid one. I used to do the We Fit one when I had space for it, but Just Dance is good as well. Okay. Damages in can have negative impacts on developing eyes with younger users. Oh, I'm not a younger user. I'm an older user. I guess that doesn't count for me. That's okay. I'll make sure I be careful with it. Yeah, I can imagine the research is probably still something in process, and you'll probably find out, like in 10 years, they'll say, oh, it's good for your eyes or something like that. Sometimes that research comes out very, very quickly, and people jump to conclusions on it. So I guess it's always good to be wary, though. Better be safe than sorry. Billy, are you saying yes, I am, as in I'm not the younger user? Don't agree with that. But I am. I'm one of the older ones. Okay. Our conversation's kind of got way off topic, but I love the idea of some of these things being rewards. I'm always young. But we might leave it there unless anyone else has anything to add about reward systems that they want to share in the chat. I want to say a big thank you to you all for coming on tonight. This has been a lot of fun. I've been excited tonight with the 1 year anniversary and everything. I'm sure I use lots of other reward systems that I've probably forgotten to note down and mention. But I'm definitely looking forward to whatever the next video is these holidays. I'll be doing it later this week. I haven't even thought about what it is because I've been getting ready to prepare for school going back. I'm really excited about being relieving principal for the first few weeks next term. And thank you everyone for participating in the chat. It's lovely to see everyone in there. Sorry, I just wanted to add that ask your introverted and extroverted students, as they will have very different ideas of what they want. Absolutely. Make sure you're keeping your kids part of that conversation too. Rosemary's just said she's loved the live chat. Let's do it again. Absolutely, I would love to do that. Thanks, Mr. Matt. I'm glad this has been helpful for everyone and not just me mucking around. Mr. Baker's Bookshelf, almost my 1 year anniversary. Mr. Baker's Bookshelf, I'm not sure if I've watched any of your videos, but I'm definitely going to go and do that now. And plan a special for the 100 video upload. Yeah, it's coming soon. I think it's only maybe 5 videos away till I reach 100. I feel like I want to do something special, but I have no idea what to do. I don't know what, but I'll do something. Maybe we can come on and try and get 100 people on to come up with 100 teaching tips. Maybe. I don't know if that's a good idea. Feel free to get to me and let me know what your ideas are. If anyone is going to be watching this later as a recording, I hope you've enjoyed this as well. If you know anyone that you think would like this video, please feel free to share it with anyone later so they can sit there for, you know, the 55 odd minutes that we've been chatting, because they should be able to see the chat as well. Take you to America. I'm on a single income, man. That's not even happening for myself. How am I going to do that for everyone else? My version of 100 days, yeah. Nick, you've just said see you next year. Are you coming out here, Nick? Are you coming to Australia? If Nick's coming out here, I'm going to get even more excited now. Answer, Nick. Answer. Type in the chat. Is Nick coming out to Australia? I'll have to make sure I do a video with him if he does. That would be super awesome. Hopefully I'll be able to get together with the other YouTubers to do another compilation soon, because that's always fun to be with everyone too. So, no. Oh, fine, Nick. He's not going to come. Now I want to make him come. Okay. He's a tease, isn't he, Mr. Colber? Okay. I know it is a letdown. Okay, I'm going to get ready to sign off though. So thanks everyone for coming on tonight. This has been lots of fun. I've got one more week left of school holidays, but I'm sure I'll be able to stay in contact with everyone at the same time as well. Anyone going to VidCon in Melbourne? I don't know. The lineup doesn't look that interesting at this point, except Christian Hull. He would be great to see. He's pretty funny. But I've got to make sure that the cost is worth the trip. The cost would be worth coming down and meeting you guys, because that would be nice. Thanks, Alicia. Bye, Rosemary. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for sharing all of your information too, Rosemary. And Lizzie too. Thank you. Thanks, Kylie. Have a good night. Hopefully I'll catch up with you soon. Yeah, too expensive. Thanks, Kelly.